What's up, guys? It's your buddy, 5 Bar Doom. I'm back home after a long weekend in Kentucky. I recorded all my matches, except for a couple where the camera cut out on me or whatever. Sometimes my GoPro will lock up and whatnot. But I recorded all the matches. Results-wise, I had a really good weekend. In general, in open singles, I sucked, and I had a terrible showing. I placed 1,000th out of 100 people or whatever, and it was just bad. I went out in 4 matches. And it was embarrassing, and I hated it, and I was hating life. But that was Friday, so no biggie. After that, I did a lot better. My 3-bar was pretty inconsistent, but I was able to get, second place in expert dubs with my buddy Sean. Thanks for playing with me, Sean. I thought we had a good time. Also, I drove down with Sean. I roomed with Sean, and it was honestly a blast. Sometimes just going on these trips with a foosball friend is really great. Sean's a guy I played tournaments with. I didn't really know him personally that well. We talked all the way down, all the way back. It's a 6-hour drive. We just were talking the whole time. I had a great time with him. I really, Sean, I really appreciate you, dude. It was really great. And, we're a lot better friends after the trip. So that was worth the trip right there, just to get to know somebody and, just grow a little bit of friendship with somebody. So that was really cool, and really, really proud of us getting second. Obviously, it'd be sweet to win, but what can you do? We lost one, felt kind of early, and, came all the way back to second place. Didn't win the final, but overall, we had a good showing. We won some really good matches, and Sean really stepped it up in the end and performed really well up front when I needed him to. So that was really neat. Thanks a bunch, Sean, for that. That was really cool. We also did pretty good in pro doubles. Sean and I got 13th, 16th in pro dubs, which, results-wise is okay. It's not it's not amazing. But for us, it's pretty good. 2 experts. And, we beat some good teams along the way. I'm excited to go through those matches and stuff. That'll be really cool. In open doubles, I played with Stefan Darby. And we got 17th, 24th, which was good enough to tie for the highest expert team bonus that WFT was giving away. So we got that cash, and I hope Stefan got that cash. I had to kind of talk to him about it because they originally didn't realize it, which I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, we ended up getting 17th, 24th in that, which was great. And then maybe my best, for me, probably the best performance of the weekend was in pro singles, where I was able to get, third place champion of the world. So that was pretty cool. What's up, guys? It's now it's Monday, February 10th. I'm already over a week past being home from TKO, and I never made this video. So I'm going to continue on with the video I started making last week. And the last one I talked a little bit about playing with Sean and playing with Stefan. Stefan played great. He showed me some interesting passing stuff that worked really well. He blocked well. We ended up getting 17th, 24th. It was pretty good, and there were some other matches where we definitely could have won if I was doing anything. What was a real bummer about the weekend is just the inconsistency of my forward game, And it makes a lot of sense just because haven't been practicing that much. I've been playing tournaments a decent amount for sure. But I haven't been practicing, and it really shows, And I think when you go through that long of a tournament weekend, that lack of practice really shines through, And you're gonna have some highs, you're gonna have some lows, and I certainly had both. In singles, my luckily going back to some of my old antics and my some 5-bar shots and stuff like that really helped me a lot, kind of carry me through and just sort of bridge the gap between the points I could get on the 3-bar and the points I needed. So that worked out really well. In pro singles, I started out, I had one match that was amazing against this guy, Dan Barnett, where it was a best of 5. He beat me the first 2 games, and I just could not score on my 3-bar to save my life. Then I just started firing 5 bars. I hit some long hooks. I hit some short 5-bar shots. And this guy had to drop back to just holding the goalie rods, which was incredible. So I wish I got that one on film. Unfortunately, I didn't plug in my GoPro to the camera, so it got cut off, and I didn't get that full recording. I just got like the first couple games. So that was a real bummer because that was a really fun match. But it was pretty cool to see the 5-bar come alive. I don't get to play much singles out here in Michigan, unfortunately. So I also didn't know if I still had it in me. You know what I mean? I never get to play singles. If I do, I'm mostly playing against like amateur level players, that type of thing. So it's not a ton of challenge really. Once in a great while they'll have like a bigger singles tournament, but we're talking like a couple times a year, not like once a week. Like when I lived in Denver, they had them going once a week against really great players, and my singles game got a lot better. Out here, my singles game is definitely a lot worse because of the lack of people playing. So it was cool to get into pro singles. But anyway, getting back to the matches, won that match. Next match I had to play was against Warren Van Landingham. He was the number 1 seed, and I ended up losing in I think 4 games. And overall, I just wasn't playing that great. Like my 5-bar wasn't that great that weekend. My 3-bar wasn't that great that weekend. I'm gonna go through the matches and cast them and stuff. I'm kind of a little bit off my game just because I've been away for a week, and I just got a lot of footage to go through, and sometimes it's hard to get back into it. Sorry, I was in a good groove before I left for TKO, but now I kind of got to get back into it. What's interesting with pro singles is I lost to Warren, and then I started coming back through the losers. I beat Sherwin Pulowski. Is probably one of the best players I beat. He's a younger kid, just super good. Fireball, tic-tac, roller. He played great. Really tough. I beat him in the losers bracket. Beat a couple other guys. I had to come back and play Warren again in the losers, and I beat him, and that match went pretty fast. So it was nice to kind of get payback there. The one thing, I'll probably make a separate video about it, but the one thing that was interesting is with in pro singles, the only person I lost to is also a person I beat, which is a strange situation. Like that really can't happen in a double elimination tournament, because if you beat the person, well, I guess you could beat them like first set of the finals and lose in the second set or something along those lines. But I lost to Warren in the winner's bracket, beat him in the loser's bracket. I won the match for 3rd place, and then the tournament was just over. You know what I mean? So to me, the big change they could make anyway in championship format is having the 2nd place and 3rd place people play. Because basically, like, I lost one time. The guy that got 2nd place, quote, 2nd place, lost one time. And, in the bracket, we would have to play to see who actually gets 2nd place. Since it's championship format, they just give it to the other person. I'd say that's not super fair. Since we both lost one time and we were on different sides of the bracket. So if I'm on the same side of the bracket as the person who ended up winning, he wouldn't have had a chance to play that person until the top of the winner's bracket. So it stands to reason that, 2nd place, the quote, like the 2nd place and 3rd place people in championship format should play each other. That's kind of what I would like to see happen. I think it's sort of fair if you say that the 1st place person gets 1st place, because it's essentially just a single elimination tournament at that point. But if you want to give out 2nd and 3rd place, I think it's pretty fair for those people to play, as opposed to just giving the person who got to the top of the winners 2nd place. But to be honest, now that I'm a week away from the tournament, I just don't feel as passionate about it. I should have made this video like a week ago when I cared more about that tournament, but I didn't. So here we are. What else can I say about the tournament? A lot of people were complaining about the tables, just how the balls weren't the best necessarily. A lot of the tables played differently and things like that. And I'll agree, like, you would notice, there's differences in the tables. I feel like it's always like that when you go on tour and go to one of these big tournaments. Tables are always different. To me, it's not much of an excuse. I think the best players are able to adapt to different table conditions. So For me, if I get on a table where I'm not shooting well or I'm not passing well, that's just squarely on my shoulders. I don't think it's really fair to blame the table for my poor performance. And I certainly had poor performances, dude. I had a lot of matches that were just absolutely god-awful, especially in doubles. Like I said, in singles, I had my 5-bar to fall back on some of the time. In doubles, I didn't. And I passed really bad pretty much the whole weekend. I mean, honestly, my 5-bar looked pretty much as bad as it's ever looked. I don't remember a tournament where I passed this poorly. And, I don't really have much to say about it. I think I should have been setting the ball back a little farther than I was. Maybe the balls impacted me somewhat, but overall, I think I'm just sort of out of practice on my 5-bar. Maybe I've been putting more attention in my 3-bar. My 3-bar actually wasn't that bad in some matches, but there were some matches where I literally couldn't execute on a roller. You know what I mean? Like, it was bad. And I had some of those playing with Stefan. I had some of those playing with Sean. And, I feel bad about how poorly I was executing in some of those matches, but it is what it is. If you're, I'm not a pro master. These guys aren't pro masters. It is what it is, man. Sometimes, if you're a decent expert player, you're going to play really good in some matches where you could kind of beat anybody, and then you're going to play really bad in some other matches. Or at least that's the way I see it. And I certainly did play really bad in some of these other matches. So I appreciate Sean and Stefan for hanging in there with me. But, I definitely didn't deliver as best I could in some of these matches, unfortunately. But what else about the tournament? Like I said, results-wise, it was pretty good. Second place in expert dubs, third place in pro singles. I look back at the pro singles bracket and actually had a couple people bow out, unfortunately. So I kind of got there easier than I should have also. So sort of not super legit third place, to be honest. Like, I knew that Matt Weber had left. I think he left anyway, because they called me against Matt Weber, and he didn't show up. So after like 15 minutes, I put him on recall, and that was it. Maybe they already knew he left, but they were like, "You won that one." I'm like, okay. Then I didn't even know this. I actually saw this today when I was looking at the bracket, but I was supposed to play, was it Dewey Culpepper or Shannon Coley? I get those guys. I feel bad for saying I get those guys confused. I don't know everybody that well. I know these guys are both from the South. Do they look similar? Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I'm going to get roasted for this, and it's fair. But I forget who was in the bracket. Maybe it was Dewey. But I was supposed to play one of these guys, and I did not. I think that was for to get to that third place match. So it was like Sunday night, and people were probably just like, you know what? I mean, honestly, that's the kind of sad part about championship format as well, right? Because you get some of these guys that are really good players, and they're just like, I'm in the losers bracket. I can't win the tournament. The very best I can get back to is third. F this, I'm leaving. I'm just going to get in the car, start driving back, which I can't even blame these guys. I've done it myself, just bow out on a tournament before, but there's so much more incentive to stay and actually play the tournament if you can get back to first. If the best you can do is get back to third, I can totally see that where you're just like, I don't care about this tournament anymore. There's essentially no incentive for me to stay. I mean, like for third place in singles, I got $200, and the trophy, obviously. So is that gonna be worth it to you if you have to play several more matches and the ultimate pinnacle of what you can achieve in that tournament is $200? Not really. Now compare that to getting first place, which was like maybe it's $1,000 in pro singles. I'm not sure. It was somewhere in that ballpark. But obviously, if you're still, two more matches are available and you could hit that $1,000 mark, obviously it's much more likely that you're going to stay and play. So I think that's like one of the other bummers about championship format is just how much it makes people not care about the losers bracket. You know what I mean? So it's basically two matches in the losers bracket I didn't have to play. can pretty much 100% chalk it up to the fact that it was championship format, because if people just aren't bailing out of a normal double elimination bracket at a major if they're still in it, that just doesn't happen very often, you know what I mean? But I think in championship format, it makes sense to me that would happen a lot. And even I've done it too. I remember I played this Michigan State Great Lakes Classic tournament, and I think I lost. I know I lost in pro singles, and I just didn't care at all. I did pretty good in open singles in that tournament. Pro singles, I lost the first one. I was just like, I could care less, dude. I'm just going to party and hang out. Didn't care, you know what I mean? And the results showed it for sure. So that kind of worked out to my benefit in this tournament, but I'm not like proud about it. I just really dislike championship format. That's what you can take away from this video for sure. What else? Yeah, I was really inconsistent. The room and stuff was super nice. Like Ryan did a great job setting it up. I thought it was beautiful. The signs were really nice. Like Sean kept just saying how colorful they were, and they really were. It was really just bright, beautiful colors. A lot of nice signs around the room. The kind of pro shop area was really cool. I didn't end up buying. I was thinking about buying a shirt or something. I didn't end up doing it. But they had a lot of nice shirts. They had different like merchandise there, and I thought it was just set up really nice. Definitely the best I've ever seen at a tournament. The pit area was pretty cool. It was spaced out really well. There were 3 tables there. If anything, they kind of are wasting space on how much space they use for the pit area. But I know they're trying to really make something happen with it. You know what I mean? Especially for like the videos and all that. But they basically had like 3 tables over there. They had 3 sets of bleachers. And, it was really nice. It was a nice setup for the finals of those events. I got to play a couple times on those tables, mostly on the side tables, not on table 1. But I played a few matches in there. And it was cool. It was nice having the room in there and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. The room itself I'd say it was big enough. It was pretty nice. They had like a bank of like tables and stuff to hang out. Maybe there was like 10 of those like round tables with just a tablecloth. Whoa, boy. Then there were like a few tables kind of scattered in the middle, maybe like 6 tables. And then there were just those 3 rows of tables where maybe it was like 12 to 15 tables each, something along those lines. My complaint about the setup, though, was, the vast majority of the tables were all on those rows of tables where they're just butted up next to each other. Like, some of the tables were maybe like 3 inches apart. It's like you'd have like 2 tables that are really close together, like 3 inches apart. And on the other sides of those, there would be a bigger gap you could get through, where it was like maybe like a foot apart. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. So it was good enough to where you could like get in and out of there, walk in between the tables and stuff. The problem I had with it was there was nowhere to watch matches. You know what I mean? So like, I've just been to so many other tournaments where like your buddies get called up and you're like, cool, man, I'm going to go watch this match. And you kind of gather around. Like sometimes tables in a bad spot where you can't see, but a lot of the times like you're able to gather around a table and it's kind of like a spectacle and it's pretty cool. For those tables in the long rows, like you really can't do that. And it's almost just like impossible to watch. If you're not like on one of the end tables, you're kind of out of luck, because even if you're just trying to see it and not get that great of a view, it's really difficult to do, because you can't sit, you can't stand anywhere behind the table. And if you're standing just in the middle of the rows, like that's like where everybody's walking. So you can't really just stand there and hang out. And even if you can, you're looking at the back of the people, they're on the table and stuff. It just was really bad from like an observing tables perspective. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if maybe they could have, instead of having them all just in a row, I wonder if they could like have like angled them slightly, if that would have been possible? I don't know. You know what I mean? I haven't really thought it through. Like, I wonder if they took every table and turned it like 30 degrees, would that have provided some additional room where you could still have them all next to each other, just instead of like straight on, they would all just kind of like be at this like staggered angle. You know what I mean? They would all be like this. Maybe you can't do that because like then that would make like one table, you would be hitting the person, you know, your feet would be bumping into the person from the next table. I don't know. But I think if they could do that or something along those lines, that would be really cool because it did just kind of suck not being able to watch. There were some times like where, like I remember Sean was kind of deep in this amateur singles tournament and I wanted to go watch and I heard he got called and I was like looking at the table. There's just nowhere to, it was like literally just impossible to watch. You know what I mean? There's just nowhere to stand where you could see anything. And that happened a couple of times throughout the weekend. So I honestly just didn't watch too many matches because of it. Where like in the past, I think I would have been able to see a few more matches. So that was kind of a bummer. The restaurant at the Clarion was actually really good. So that was nice. I didn't expect that. I know I've been there before, and I think like I feel like it wasn't that great before. So maybe they've redone it in the time since I went to the last big tournament there, which I don't know what tournament it would have been. Maybe like 2017 Worlds or something like that. Geez, it's almost been 10 years now. But yeah, I don't know. The restaurant was good. I had some nice meals there. Definitely the worst cup of French onion soup I've ever had, so don't get that. But other than that, I thought the food was pretty good. What else? Sorry, I guess I should have wrote some of this down. The one thing I will say, though, that was a bummer also was just the fact, like, all of our matches got, we were done. The tournament was wrapping up like 5 a.m. I mean, honestly, it wasn't even wrapping up. I think they were still calling some matches. But, like, my last match finished up around 5 a.m. on Monday morning. You know what I mean? So, Sunday morning, I woke up at, like, 10 a.m. Well, I didn't wake up at 10. My first match was at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And then I basically played all the way through till 5 a.m. on Monday. Which, I mean, isn't that different from a lot of other tournaments. So I can't say I was super surprised by it. The one bummer, though, is if you're playing till 5 a.m. on Monday and and on Friday night and Saturday night, they're shutting down the entire tournament for like 2 hours to play these finals. Doesn't feel that great, man. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. I think that they would have done a lot better not doing that and kind of just doing what they've done before, which is, you know, they're about to play the finals, just call it. Whoever's sitting there can watch it. And if you're in a match, you're in a match. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely had more people crowding around watching it just because, you know, you got nothing else to do. I mean, it's a time when a lot of people were getting dinner. Like, I certainly got dinner while the final was going on, like, Friday and Saturday, I think. Or maybe you take a nap or something. It's just like a break. But they did have a big crowd. It was pretty cool. They had the lights down. It was nice. It was like a good setup for what they wanted to do. So I understand why they did it. And I'm not saying it was a mistake or anything, but I am saying the tournament ran until after 5 a.m. on Sunday. If they just didn't do that, it basically would have like ended like almost like a perfect time around like midnight, 1 a.m. on Sunday night. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I know why they did it. I think it was cool, so they can do whatever they want. But, you know, it definitely stretched out the tournament a lot longer. And it's always a bummer playing your finals matches at the very end of the night. Like, me and Sean played this Expert Dubs match. It's like 5 a.m. There's just, like, no fanfare. You know what I mean? They don't even announce it, honestly. They just, like, we get called up. We play the match. That's it. There wasn't even, like, over the loudspeaker, like, oh, Expert Doubles Finals happening on this table. There's just, like, you know, everybody's pretty done with the tournament at this point. They're just trying to get this thing over with, which I completely understand. But, you know, it definitely just always makes it a bummer when you're playing the finals. nobody's around, nobody cares anymore because the tournament's over. You know what I mean? And there you have it. So, oh well, not the end of the world. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I had a good tournament, man. I'm glad I went. It was cool to see the first round of the tournament that Ryan's putting on, taking it over from his mom. I think he did a really good job. I think I think they had enough tables. If they didn't do that whole stop everything for the finals, they would have actually wrapped up at a reasonable time. And I'm not even really complaining that much about having to go until 5:30 a.m. on Monday, just because it's so common. Like, I've had to do that so many times in the past that it's just not surprising in the least that happened. So, and I survived it, so it was totally fine. Tables, I think we're fine. I heard a lot of people, like I said, complaining about them. I think they were fine. Or it's just, that's kind of just like, it is, that's just the way it is, you know what I mean? The balls definitely seem like they got worn out pretty fast. So I will say that about those new balls. They didn't seem the greatest. But again, I mean, that's just sort of how it's been forever. It's not like the balls were always perfect, and then this year they're like way lower quality. I mean, there's certainly been plenty of years where the balls, like, start of the weekend, they're pretty good. End of the weekend, they're pretty marbly. The one thing I will say about this tournament, though, is there's a lot of people bringing their own balls, which I'm not a fan of that, dude. I think that's kind of like, I don't know if I'd say it's in poor taste, but to me, it's like, if you go to a tournament, you really got to play with the balls provided at that tournament. You know what I mean? Like, you go there, you buy balls there, and everybody should be playing with those balls. There's like multiple people playing with these like refurbished balls. Like I personally have some of these balls from Michael Veit in my table at home. They're nice, they're good balls, but I wasn't a fan of that. Like, people playing with those balls like in the tournament room. I just think, like, if you're at the tournament, everybody should be playing with the balls provided at the tournament. Just because that's how it's always been. I mean, well, maybe it hasn't. I mean, as far as I know, it's always been that way. Like, you're supposed to play with the balls that you're provided at the tournament. You're not supposed to bring your own balls and play with them. So that's just how I feel about that. Yeah, I mean, then, like, I played the whole weekend, had like okay results. It's kind of an interesting turning point. Like, once you go play a big tournament, especially for me, because I haven't been playing a ton of them, it's sort of like, what's next? You know what I mean? It's like, do you get like super pumped about your results and super pumped about foosball and really want to just take it up to the next level? Or are you going to like just give up? You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, oh, I played terrible. I'm just going to give up and stop playing. Like, I don't care about this anymore. For me, I feel like I'm squarely in the middle, where I feel like I didn't play that well, for sure. I definitely just had like I said, my 5-bar was really disappointing. My 3-bar was overall not very good. I had some matches where it was decent, but I wouldn't call it good. I would say it was better than in a lot of previous tournaments. But overall, just very inconsistent, and a lot of it's due to lack of practice. Now, do I feel the motivation to actually practice now? No, I definitely don't at all. So, and it's like, if you have a problem where you're like inconsistent or not playing that great, and the solution is practice, and you're not willing to put in that practice, where does that leave you in the foosball community? And for me, I guess what I'm going to try to do is just try to keep grinding out these local tournaments. I'm not really planning on hitting another big tournament anytime soon. I mean, we have some big ones coming up. There's like the Arnold one at the end of this month. Definitely not going to do that. There's Wisconsin State, which is like an 8-hour drive or something. I could do that, but overall I'm thinking no. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll be like, if I'm playing good, like the week before, I could consider going up there. Overall, I think I won't. There's like the Vegas tournament. It's possible. I wouldn't mind going out to Vegas just to play some poker and stuff too. So so that could be interesting, but I don't know, man. I think my plan right now is just not to commit too heavily to anything. Just keep trying to play some foosball here, not fall out of it. You know what I mean? Just keep playing, keep doing my best, and and just kind of see what happens. You know what I mean? Yeah, kind of anticlimactic end to this video. But yeah, that's about it, man. I came, I saw, I played, I got some mediocre results. You know what I mean? You put in mediocre effort, you get mediocre results, and that's what happened. I mean, honestly, these are kind of the top end results that I could even expect. You know what I mean? I go into this tournament thinking, oh man, maybe I could even do pretty good in open doubles, and I just completely bomb out of it. You know what I mean? Just 4 and out. The 2 matches I won, I basically pretty much would just never lose those matches, for the most part. And the matches I lost, I would think I would win those some of the time for sure. So I mean, it was just disappointing. Pro singles, I didn't play that good. I mean, so overall, I didn't play that well. You know what I mean? In the end of expert dubs, Sean definitely bailed me out of some of those matches. It's not like I just turned it around and started playing good. So yeah, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's funny because the results weren't super disappointing, but over, if I would have to put it in the category of a good tournament or a disappointing tournament, play-wise, it was more disappointing. You know what I mean? I just didn't, I didn't play as well as I was hoping. I have been playing okay around here in the Detroit area too, so I was hoping that would carry through. It just really didn't. So anyway, that's the 5 bar of doom life, man. You know what I mean? It's you do your best, and sometimes your best isn't that great, and that's kind of the way I feel about it. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this absolutely rambling video. If there's anybody still watching and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing, bro? Hit subscribe for me. But yeah, that's it, man. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to try to put out some videos soon. I know, obviously, I've been slacking on it as far as casting all the matches from TKO, but I will try to do that and get on it soon enough. So I will see you soon in the future with some of those replays, and we'll talk about them. All right, man. Thanks, and if you came out and said hi to me, TKO, I appreciate it. It's good seeing you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.